If you're constantly hungry, craving sweets, or feeling like you need to snack all day long in order to stay energized, you're probably not building your meals the right way. Today, I'll show you a simple, nutritionist-approved framework to build a low-carb, high-protein plate that keeps you full for hours without counting calories or cutting out your favorite foods. This is the exact approach I use with clients to improve insulin sensitivity, balance blood sugar, and make healthy eating effortless. Once you understand how to build meals in this way, you're going to feel in complete control of your appetite, your energy, and your results. I'm Kait, a nutritionist who helps people reverse insulin resistance and balance their blood sugar naturally. In today's video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to build a meal that keeps you satisfied for hours. You'll learn how much protein you actually need, which fats to cook with, how to add carbs strategically, and what to do if you're still hungry or not seeing results yet. This framework works for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And when you get it right, you'll notice something amazing. You can go 4 to 5 hours between meals without thinking about food, without a snack, and without that energy crash that used to hit mid-afternoon. So let's start with the foundation, because this is the part that can make or break the entire meal. Every balanced blood sugar friendly meal starts with protein. It's the centerpiece of your plate. Most people, especially women, are not eating nearly enough. And I don't just mean athletes or bodybuilders. I'm talking about anyone trying to feel satisfied, build lean muscle, lose weight, or reverse insulin resistance. Here's why protein is a non-negotiable. It's the most satiating macronutrient. It keeps you full for longer than carbs or fat. It stabilizes blood sugar by slowing digestion. It helps build and maintain muscle, which is the body's biggest glucose sink. This means more muscle literally helps you to manage blood sugar better. And it supports hormone balance and metabolism. Without enough protein, everything else is going to feel harder. Cravings, hunger, slow progress. These are all common signs that you're not eating enough. So how much do you need? A good rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So if your ideal body weight is 140 pounds, then you should be aiming for 140 grams of protein every single day. And yes, it's 1-to-1 grams to pound, not 1-to-1 grams per kilo. Now this might sound like a lot, but it's really doable when you break it down into 2 or 3 meals. So here's what that can look like in real food. A palm-sized portion of meat, chicken or fish, is about 4 to 6 ounces, which gives you roughly 30 grams of protein. 5 eggs are about 30 grams. And a cup of Greek yogurt or cottage cheese is about 20 to 25 grams. Now, I always recommend starting with real food as your protein source first. If you do need to supplement with a high quality protein powder, make sure you choose one that doesn't have any added sugar, doesn't have any artificial sweetener or other weird ingredients. I'll link to a couple of my favorite brands in the description box down below because there are a lot out there that are maybe doing a little bit more harm than good, but there are some good ones. The key is to make protein the main character on your plate. Everything else builds around it. When protein is high enough, hunger naturally regulates, energy stabilizes, and your blood sugar curve flattens out instead of spiking and crashing. Now, if you're brand new to this, weighing and tracking your food can be a useful tool to help wrap your head around how much protein is in foods. But this isn't about tracking forever. Once you've done it for a bit, you'll know what 30 grams looks like instinctively. No food scale needed. And the best part, when you get your protein right, you'll notice your cravings virtually disappear. Once you've got your protein, the next step is choosing the right cooking fat. And this matters more than most people realize. Many people are still using vegetable oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, and thinking they're making a healthy choice. But here's the truth. Most vegetable oil doesn't actually come from vegetables. It comes from highly processed seeds like canola, soybean, sunflower, and corn. These oils are chemically extracted, often with solvents like hexane, and are unstable at high heat, meaning they oxidize easily and can promote inflammation. Inflammation makes insulin resistance worse, so this is an easy upgrade. Use stable, nutrient-rich fats instead. Use grass-fed butter for sauteing and pan cooking, coconut oil or ghee for higher heat, and tallow if you want old-fashioned flavor and serious heat stability. These fats are rich in fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and they support healthy hormone production. If you're cooking eggs, pan-frying chicken, or searing salmon, the fat you use changes everything. Healthy fat makes your food taste better, supports satiety, and slows digestion, keeping you full for longer. Think of it this way. Protein is the anchor of your meal, and fat is the glue that keeps it together. Now that you've got protein and fat, it's time to add some color. Low-carb vegetables and low-sugar fruit can help to balance your plate. Now, especially if you have excess weight you're trying to lose, if you're insulin resistant, if you're pre-diabetic, I do recommend being a little bit mindful of your carb consumption. So you're gonna wanna opt for low carb veggies and low sugar fruit. However, if you're following this framework and you're eating mainly whole foods, your meals will naturally end up being low carb anyways, even if you're not tracking. This is because whole foods, especially protein, vegetables, and healthy fats, are naturally lower in carbohydrates than anything processed. It's actually quite hard to overeat carbs when most of your plate is real food. Think of carbs as the supporting actor, not the lead. They're not necessary for the plot, but they can add some variety. A handful of low-starch veggies like zucchini, asparagus, broccoli, or cauliflower adds fiber and volume without spiking glucose. Berries like blueberries, raspberries, or strawberries are great low-sugar fruit options that add antioxidants and just a touch of sweetness. You don't need to cut carbs entirely if you don't want to. That's what a lot of people get wrong. Yes, reducing carbs can be an effective strategy, but if you reduce them too low that you're not going to be able to maintain this way of eating long term, then you're not going to be able to maintain your results. So think controlled carbs, not no carbs. If your plate is made up of protein, fat, and fruits and vegetables, you're already eating low carb without even trying. Now let's finish the plate. You've already used healthy fat for cooking, but adding a small amount on top brings the meal together, both in taste and satiety. You could slice avocado over eggs, melt grass-fed butter over steak, drizzle olive oil on roasted vegetables, or add a sprinkle of nuts or seeds for crunch. Healthy fats like these help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins, signal fullness to your brain, and make meals more satisfying. It's often the missing piece when people say, I'm eating healthy, but I'm still hungry. The difference is those finishing fats. They slow digestion and stabilize the blood sugar curve. So by now, your plate should have protein as the base, a healthy cooking fat, non-starchy vegetables or low sugar fruit, and a finishing fat on top. That combination will keep your blood sugar balanced and your hunger quiet for hours. Quick question before we keep going. When you build your meals, what do you focus on first? Protein, carbs, or something else? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, before we get into the troubleshooting, what to do if you're still hungry in between meals or if you're not seeing results quite yet, a quick word from today's sponsor, ButcherCrowd. If you want to make this framework simple, high quality protein is key. That's why I use ButcherCrowd for all my meat and seafood. They deliver grass-fed beef and lamb, pasture-raised chicken and pork, and wild-caught seafood straight to your door. Everything is sustainably sourced, ethically raised, and nutrient-dense. Exactly what I recommend for balancing blood sugar naturally. You can fully customize your box, and right now ButcherCrowd is giving my viewers 15% off their first order. So make sure to use code HCK15 at checkout. I'll put the link in the description box down below. So let's talk about what to do if you're following this framework and you're still hungry in between meals. The first thing to check is your protein intake. Most people who feel hungry a few hours after eating are under-eating protein. And like I said, most people are doing this without even realizing. 2 eggs at breakfast, not enough protein. Try increasing your serving by about 10 to 15 grams. That's 2 extra eggs, a few ounces of meat, or a bit of Greek yogurt. That small bump usually fixes it. Now, if you've done that and you're still hungry, look at your fat. Add half an avocado, an extra drizzle of olive oil, or a small handful of nuts to your meals. Don't be afraid of calories. Again, if you can't maintain the way you're eating, you're not going to get maintainable results. Fat slows digestion and helps you stay full for longer without causing insulin spikes. And if you're still not seeing progress with fat loss or energy, give your body time. If you've been under eating for years or bouncing between diets, your body might need a few weeks of consistency to rebuild trust, to speed your metabolism back up. Focus on nutrient quality, regular meals, and stable blood sugar first. Results will always follow. Remember, insulin resistance doesn't happen overnight, and neither does reversing it. But when your meals are balanced like this, the progress will come. So here's what a balanced, low-carb, high-protein meal looks like in real life. For breakfast, it can look like eggs cooked in ghee, avocado on the side, and maybe a few berries. For lunch, it can look like grilled salmon or chicken with olive oil, roasted veggies, and a sprinkle of nuts. And dinner, a steak with sauteed greens and a side of cauliflower mash. That's it. 3 simple but satisfying meals. Follow this for 2 to 3 meals per day, no snacking in between. If your goal is to lose fat, reverse insulin resistance, or lower your blood sugar, this approach gives your body time between meals to let insulin drop and fat burning switch on naturally. You don't need to count calories and you don't need to count carbs. When you eat this way, whole foods, high protein, and healthy fat, Your appetite and energy naturally fall into rhythm. This is the same framework I used in my Reverse Insulin Resistance by 2016 video. And it's one of the most sustainable ways to eat long term. It's flexible, simple, and once you feel the results, you'll never go back to grazing and snacking all day. So if you're in Australia and ready to make this framework part of your daily routine, check out Butcher Crab. It makes stocking your freezer with quality protein easy. And if you want to take things further, make sure to check out my video, How to Reverse Insulin Resistance by 2016. I'll link that on the screen now. That one shows you how to combine this meal building approach with other habits in order to improve insulin sensitivity and to improve it fast, so you can lower your insulin naturally and feel your best again.